Welcome to the Connected Family System podcast. I'm Jasmine Trotty Herring, creator of the Connected Family System, a framework designed to help parents build steady, intentional homes grounded in values and structure. In each episode, we explore how values, guiding principles, consistency, emotional regulation, and communication work together to create a home that holds. Let's get started. In the last episode, we talked about mood dependent parenting. Today, I want to talk about caregiver misalignment because not all instability in a home comes from children. Sometimes it comes from tension between the adults. And there are actually two types of misalignment. So, the first is value misalignment. The second is application misalignment. And no, they are not the same. Yes, they are different. Let's start with value misalignment. Value misalignment happens when caregivers do not agree on what matters. For example, one parent values respect expressed through obedience and compliance, while the other parent values freedom of expression and emotional autonomy. So when their child talks back, one parent sees disrespect that must be corrected immediately. That parent says, "This is unacceptable," and tells their child no dessert that night. The other parent sees emotional expression that should be allowed and says they're just expressing themselves. They leave it alone. No consequence to follow. Now, the child isn't just confused about the consequence, they're confused about whether the behavior is actually wrong. The blueprint is unclear. And when the blueprint is unclear, just like with a real home, the structure cannot hold. Now, let's talk about application misalignment. This happens when caregivers agree on the value, but disagree on how to enforce it. Both parents agree disrespect is unacceptable. Both parents agree that talking back is a form of disrespect. Both parents agree on what that talking back looks like. But one parent responds by sending the child to their room, and the other parent responds by popping that child in the mouth immediately. The child may still understand and gather that the behavior is wrong, but what destabilizes the home is not the difference in consequence. It's the conflict between the caregivers that will likely follow. If one parent now criticizes the other in front of the child, right? So one parent goes, "That was too harsh of a punishment. You're wrong." Or, "You're too soft on the child. That gentle parenting stuff doesn't work here." Now the structure is weakening, not necessarily because the value is unclear, but because the adults are divided. And children are smart. Not only are they smart, but they're deeply sensitive to relational tension. When correction leads to conflict between caregivers, anxiety increases. The child may begin to feel responsible, even, or unsure as to which standard truly governs the home and who to actually listen to or who to actually trust. That instability comes from that division between the adults. Here's the key distinction. If both caregivers agree on the value and present a unified front, children can tolerate variation in consequence. But if caregivers undermine each other or argue about enforcement, disagree, the structure fractures. This is why alignment conversations must happen, and consequences should be agreed upon ahead of time. Let's go back to the example with the child being disrespectful. Say the caregivers agreed the consequence is removing privileges. Then it could play out something like this. The child is being disrespectful during dinner by talking back, and on that night, the caregiver takes away dessert. On a different night, for the same behavior, the other caregiver says no television for the rest of the evening. The consequence was different, but fell under the agreed umbrella of removing privileges. There wasn't any fighting, misalignment, or built up tension or resentment. So here's something to reflect on. If conflict arises in your home, is it about what you value, or is it actually about how you enforce it? Those require different solutions. If it's value misalignment, you need blueprint conversations. If it's application misalignment, you need agreement on standards and consequences. Because stability in a home does not require identical personalities, it requires visible unity, and that unity creates security. So, if this resonates with you and you'd like support building your own system, I offer live workshops where we walk through the process together. You can find details at theconnectedfamilysystem.com. Have a great day, guys!